Hi English Nights, Mrs. Sopiarz-Rianda. I hope this video update finds you well. What we are working on this week is session 3 in Unit 5. We're going to continue reading the novel Night by Eli Wiesel. We're actually going to be finishing it up this week. We are going to be working on our last dialectic journal, having a quiz, and then also doing some discussion as well. So it is a busy week, but we are going to be wrapping up our writing because next week we're going to be focusing on a summative project to wrap up our reading of Night. So first, I really want to say you guys overall have been doing a fantastic job with active reading and completing and working on your dialectic journals. There's a lot of predicting and analyzing and inferring, questioning going on, so keep up that work as we wrap up reading our novel this week. So you can see right here a couple of things I want to just make sure that you're aware of. Here is the reading for this week. It's approximately it's section 6 through 9, and it begins on approximately page 85 in the actual novel, not the PDF. But the page numbers are in the PDF. But this is the page 85 of the novel. And then read it to its end. And it starts with an icy wind. That is the section 6. 6 begins that way. And then finish up the book. Also, I wanted to point out, remember, part of the class policy for late work is that you are able to turn in late work within the current unit that we're working. And I do give you about a week to submit any late work from a unit before we start moving on. So Unit 5 late work, you can still submit it except for discussion because remember, discussion is the only assignment that I do not accept late. Is due by the 8th of February, and you can still earn up to 85% credit. So definitely take advantage and complete your late work if you have any by that date. Remember, something different if you were enrolled in class last semester, something a little different about discussion is that this semester discussion is worth 10% of your grade. So it will not be worth more than that. So again, 10% of your grade. And I will drop your lowest discussion grade for this semester. So remember, if you're new to class or if you are returning, that is a change from last semester. So I just want to make you aware of that. But for late work, no discussion is accepted late. Okay? So clicking on materials, how we navigate through a session, clicking on the unit. Remember, session 3 is due by Sunday, February 1st before midnight. So click on our Unit 5, Session 3. The week of, this work will be completed the week of January 26th through February 1st. And again, there's that due date and the reading assignment. So you always start right here on the video update and the session plan. It gives you a great overview and suggested schedule of the week. So be sure to review our checklist and the suggested schedule. I'm having a lot of kiddos feeling overwhelmed or not being able to manage their time. That's really one of the biggest things about being an online learner is being organized, being motivated. And so I'm helping you with your organization as far as giving you a daily checklist of things to do every day, Monday through Friday, to complete the work in this session. I know everyone works different days and times, but if that works for you and if you're doing well in class, and that's great. But if you are not, then I would suggest using my suggested schedule. Okay, because yours might not be working if you're not doing well in class. Okay, so there's that suggested schedule. So the first thing that you're going to be doing is reading the rest of Night. Like I mentioned, we're going to have a class discussion. We're going to be working on the last dialectic journal along with the essential questions. And then we're going to be taking a quiz on this section of the novel so far. And you'll see these essential questions are going to be guiding our work this week. And you'll also see them in part 2 of your dialectic journal. That's been the case the entire unit, is reflection on what we've been learning in your dialectic journal. So you'll see these again in the dialectic journal. So click Next. And here's that reading assignment. Again, this is approximately 30 pages, so you should be reading between 6 to 9 pages every night this week. And same as session 1 and 2, it's 3 passages per section. Since there is 4 sections this week, 6, 7, 8, and 9, you need 12 journal entries this week. If you need a review on what I'm looking for in a dialectic journal, click there to go back to session 1. And here is a Word doc and a Google Doc. And be sure, remember, to complete both parts 1 and 2. And submit that into the Dropbox right there. Next, we're going to have a discussion on night. Now, you know, many of you, again, if this is your second semester with me, you know how to participate in the discussion. But for those of you that do not, please review this information and the video, as well as the rubric and this document down here for accountable talk, for you to learn how to participate in discussion. For this week's discussion, you are going to choose one of these questions right here and respond in a post using PIA. If you click on PIA, here is that explanation of what that is, point evidence analysis. Okay, it gives you a great example right there on what PIA is. So you're going to be using PIA to answer one of these questions right here. You are required to include a quote as your evidence along with the page number as your textual evidence in your response. Remember, PIA, point evidence analysis. So you're going to be making your point. You're going to be providing evidence, textual evidence, with your quote and page number as evidence of your point, and then you're going to further analyze how that evidence supports your point. So it's a minimum of 3 sentences in a good PIA response. To earn full credit for this discussion, you not only have to write your initial post using PIA, but you need to use this document right here. You need to respond to at least 2 other students using the accountable talk stems. If you click on this document, where'd it go? You can open it up and you can see when you're posting your responses that if you agree, you're disagreeing, clarification, confirmation, you are needing to use 2 of these accountable talk stems in your responses this week. Not only this week, but in all your discussion. So to receive full credit, again, you need to use PIA and you need to use accountable talk in your responses, 2 responses. Okay? So you'll be having that discussion this week. And then lastly, you're going to be having a quiz, a reading quiz on night. This quiz is only on the reading assignment for sections 6 through 9 of night for this portion of your reading. It's multiple choice and true and false, and it's worth 40 points. But here's the thing. You are only able to take this quiz once. It is not resumable, and it is timed for 30 minutes. So when you click Next, you need to be ready to take the quiz because you won't be able to take it again. Okay? So be sure you have read your novel and you are ready to take that quiz when you click on quiz. Okay? And then after you take your quiz right there, remember you can only take it once and it's timed, you will be done with session 3. Next week in session 4, we're going to be wrapping up our discussion on Night by Eli Wiesel, and you're going to be doing a creative summative project on the novel. If you have any questions this week, please contact me. I am happy to help. Thanks, everybody.